Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Baka podcast.
Baka. It's amazing how every time you open your mouth, you prove you're an idiot.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Baka. You clicked on a minisode, so you know what you got into. Unless you don't, in which case, normally this is an anime podcast where we talk about an anime we just watched, but we didn't do that this week. We're watching something. We decided to talk about something near and dear to our heart that we thought of and is well researched, well developed. We're not total Bakas. Ignore the name of the podcast. My name is Troy, and today we're going to be talking about the animes that brought us back, the animes that made us fall in love with anime all over again. And to do that, I need the help of my co-host. First off, we have the Fiji to my water bottle, Jeremy.
Oh, I see how much effort's been put into this.
I was about to say, I feel like you've put a lot of research into that one.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I love our outline. It just basically says in the body, talk about stuff. It's a clear minisode.
Jeremy, how are you?
Well, you know, the cosmos has balanced itself. Last week I got a PS4. This week I got a new radiator for my car. So doing well, though.
Nothing's worse than car issues.
Yeah. But I did have a really crazy thing happen, though. We only have one vehicle, and so when I drop it off at the shop, I have to walk back if it's going to be there any length of time. And on the way back, I'm walking along the sidewalk. It's about a 2.5-3 mile walk. I'm walking on the sidewalk, and there's just up ahead of me, I see this little old lady sitting in a power chair, just smoking a cigarette on the sidewalk out in it's nowhere. There's no houses or anything there. And so I'm walking by, and I nod, and she waves, and I don't know why, but I said, man, I'd love to have a chair like that. I got like 2.5 miles left to go. And she laughs and she says, yeah, I wish this one worked. And so the rest of the day, I'm like, before I got to walk the rest of the way, I was working with her trying to get her wheelchair to work again, and we couldn't get it to work. So I had to push her back and wound up hanging out for a little bit and chatting. And
so Jeremy has real world adventures that are beyond my comprehension.
Dude, I wish I remembered more of the dialogue, because I told Tanya about it. She's like, oh my God, that's like an anime right there. It's crazy. It was really funny. He had to be there, though.
I want to point out, so at the end of the 2 weeks, I get ready. We're getting ready for the podcast. We're kind of starting to finish up watching it, and I start sending out text messages like, hey, you need to pick an anime, and you need to pick a minisode, just so you guys know. And I wrote that out, and right before I send it, it pops up, hey, the car is broken. Maybe right now I don't need to bother him. I felt so bad, because I'm like, I need him to pick an anime. I would not care one iota if my radiator broke and someone's like, hey, what anime do you want to watch?
I didn't mind. It was a nice way to get my mind off the car.
Okay. So we also have the Victoria's Secret catalog to my Jason. I think my wife left some mail on my desk. How you doing?
I think this week you got the better one.
Oh, well, to look at.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Oh.
I am still sick. This thing is just absolutely hammering me. And similar to Jeremy, I got to learn how to change rear rotors and brakes on a Honda Odyssey. So, because I been hearing a little grinding in the passenger back wheel, and I was like, oh, I guess it's time to change brakes. And then 2 weeks later, we were like, still hear the grinding. I guess it's still trying to change the brakes.
Was it a rock, or was it just the brakes were past it and so they were grinding now?
The pad was gone, so it was just metal on metal. And I took it into the Les Schwab tires, and they were like, "Yeah, we got to change everything. It's going to be $700." And I was like, "Thank you. take it under advisement and went to the
Uh-huh.
auto body or the auto parts place and was able to do it myself for about $150. So
That's how you want to do it.
but yeah, it was the funniest part about the whole story. Nearly 45 minutes went by. I was fighting with the rotor to get it to come off. And I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with rotors at all, but really the only thing holding it on are the bolts that hold the tire on and the caliper. Well, I had taken the caliper off and then obviously the wheel, and I can't get this thing to pop off. And my wife comes down. She's like, "How's it going, honey?" I'm like, "I don't even have the first rotor off." And she goes, well, did you turn off are the brakes on?" I was like, "Of course the brakes aren't on." "Are the brakes on?" "Oh crap."
Oh no.
The freaking parking brake was on.
That's awesome.
I was so mad.
Uh,
I was so mad.
it's always best when there's no one to be mad at but yourself.
Right.
So this week I had to pump my own gas.
Oh man.
Rough.
Wait, you normally go to a place where someone pumps your gas for you?
No, I haven't been to Oregon in a while. Actually, okay, so I actually did something that wasn't horrible like you guys. I'm super addicted to watching the original Japanese Iron Chefs. They are fantastic. They are dubbed horribly, and they're like the only thing getting me between new episodes of Food Wars, because it lives Food Wars in real life, and it's fantastic. And there's this on the floor commentator. He interviews the chefs. And whenever the chefs do something new, he calls out to the main commentator who's interviewing the guest and just giving a play-by-play. And he calls out, "Fukiyo-san!" And I just imagine Fukiyo-san trying to talk and interview someone. And, "Fukiyo-san, what? They're boiling water. Oh, good. I'm going to talk to the guest now. Fukiyo-san, what? They put mashed potatoes in. Ah!" They're fabulous. If you like cooking and weird ingredients, that they're the old school OGs for sure.
That's awesome.
Okay, so just like we need to bring it back to our Miniso topic, the Miniso topic is about us coming back to animes, and not just coming back to animes. Because when Jason, who came up with this Miniso topic, my thought on it was, what reminded me while I was watching animes, oh, this is why I like animes.
Well, you've mentioned in the past, like, you really appreciate the medium because there's certain things that anime can do that if you try to do either live action or traditional Western animation or even 3D animation, it just doesn't work. Or it's that perspective from the Japanese perspective just tells a really fantastical story in a way that we're just not familiar with.
And we just had one very, very recently. It wasn't even one I'm going to mention, but as you mentioned that, Made in Abyss. Like, watching Made in Abyss is like, what else can tell a story like Made in Abyss? Obviously the manga, but...
That was my first one, actually.
Sorry.
No, it's fine, because you're absolutely right. Halfway through that, about halfway through that season, I was just like, this is why I watch anime. Like, this done live action just would have sucked.
Speaking of which, Fullmetal Alchemist live action movie came out, and it did not get good reviews.
Weird.
Weird.
So you're looking forward to that, too. It'll be just like, what was that last one you watched?
Oh, Death Note.
Yeah. Take two.
Anyways, go on. Troy.
Well, how about Jeremy, since we both have said one officially?
Well, yeah, I think it's going to be pretty similar. I think for me, Log Horizon came at a time when I hadn't watched anime in a long time, but I remembered that Sword Art Online was really cool. I really liked that idea of being stuck in a video game and having to deal with that. And so I just flicked on, I think it was Netflix at the time, and looked around to see if there was anything of a similar genre. And I gave Log Horizon a shot, and it had so many twists in it that I did not see coming. Absolutely loved it. The way that it can take that idea, which in itself would be very hard to execute live action. I mean, Tron perhaps works.
So
right,
give a little
going way
backstory on
back.
Log Horizon for those who don't know it. Not too
So-
much. If you don't want to spoil anything. But
Yes, spoiler free. Log Horizon is very similar to all the others in the genre of you're stuck in a video game, but it takes it in a different direction
This
because
isn't the cell phone one, is it?
no, there's nothing about cell phones in it.
that's a new one.
Oh,
Okay.
I heard it's awful.
Oh, really? Yeah, I've heard this one has actually gotten pretty good reviews, but it winds up following the main character who's kind of a strategist, and he's his exploits as he's trying to salvage the society that has remained now that everybody's stuck in this environment. And it has all its own rules about what happens when you die, if you die, things like that, that are very different from what I had come to expect from Sword Art Online. And it, like I said, it took it in a direction that was constantly surprising me in a very pleasant way, and rekindled an affection for this kind of very free storytelling that it doesn't seem as restricted, but it is limited by other medias, the way other medias are. So
The very first one for me that just blew my mind and was like, this, I like this medium, was the movie Akira.
Oh yeah.
Not only were they able to tell about 3 different storylines in a short amount of time that were just absolutely fabulous, but to watch a main character that I had assumed was going to, spoilers if you haven't seen Akira, but a main character that just wasn't going to live through the end. That was, that shocked me, because at the time I hadn't seen any mediums like that where any character was up for grabs when it came to a death scene.
That was my first experience into an anime that was like, what if we didn't put limits on our imagination and our storytelling?
Yeah.
Which is, what anime can do best. When you make a live action movie, there's, okay, what can we actually do with special effects? What is our budget? With anime, it's like, what can we draw? That's our only limit. And so if I imagine a boy turning into a giant baby blob, that's a thing I can do. Spoilers.
Right.
Yep.
My first. Oh, did you have more?
No. I was just going to agree with you. Go ahead.
One of the first ones for me was actually Death Note, because it was one of the first animes I watched that was like, it wasn't just punching and robots and magic girls. It was just really deep storytelling with that unlimited imagination, and so well done. And it wasn't super fantastical either. So it was like, wow, it was so untropy. And it just reminded me, like, it was anime at its purest without the tropes clogging it up for me.
I think if we're going back to the early ones that really made an impression, Princess Mononoke hit me right at the beginning. I mean, when I saw that boar covered in worm things and the way that was dealt with, and then the character arcs for all the different main characters, and then how everything culminated in the end, I loved the mythological side and the special effects. I mean, is that am I right? Is it Studio Ghibli?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it was beautiful to behold. It was
fantastic storyline.
Yeah,
it
was
and amazingly
awesome.
well executed.
Mm-hmm. And that was a relatively early one for me, amidst like Ghost in the Shell and some of the others that I was watching at the time. But that one made the biggest impression early on. I actually had seen Akira, and it didn't make as much of an impression on me, but I think it was because I watched it after I'd watched several others, like Ghost in the Shell, and they hit me with their technological, and I think it was with their awesome technology. And I'm just
thinking of Armitage. I just know you're thinking of Armitage the Third being so awesome.
Armitage the Third was amazing.
Okay, no, but Akira is so much better than Armitage.
No, it's okay. It's okay. You guys can be wrong in your little corner of the world over there where everybody agrees with you.
Oh no.
So actually, one of the things that helped me agree to even join this show,
Armitage,
was not Armitage, or Armitage 3. But I had just got done watching, probably a couple of weeks before, Psycho-Pass.
Mm-hmm.
Psycho-Pass was just this bat of reminder in the face of, wow, look what we can do with, like, you could easily have live actioned all of that. There was nothing extra fantastical visually about that story, but the way it was told and the animation was just so brilliant that I don't like it. Yeah, it was just a wow. Look what we can do with medium, that we can tell such a mature story without so much gore. Like, but yeah, that, like, I was back in. Like, I hadn't watched anime in quite some time, and I had watched a couple sporadically, and I watched that. And when Troy approached me about the show, I was like, I'm in. Like, that reminded me.
You know, before we were doing the show, you know, I did the same thing. I'd watch anime for a while and then go a while without, and everyone thought I'd just get the itch. And I remember one of the times it'd been quite a while, and I heard about this anime, and it was about, what if there was this superpowered dude who's so overpowered he beats everything in one punch? Yeah. And at first, and then I saw a picture, and I'm like, that looks so stupid. And the more I thought about it, like, how do you pull that off? How do you make that interesting? He kills everything in just one punch, but he looks so plain.
Yep.
And it just pulled me in. Eventually, I watched it. I'm like, this is amazing. One Punch Man is so good.
One of the best episodes.
That got me.
One of the best episodes of that entire show is he's the best at everything, but he goes and takes the test and he gets ranked C.
No. The best part of that is as he's sitting there, the most powerful human on the planet, getting to see his sweatshirt says boobs.
Yes.
With 2 curves and 2 dots. Just, I can't.
It's amazing.
So good.
It's a great show. Yeah.
Anything recently for you, Jeremy?
Let's see. Made in Abyss was really good. I was actually thinking some of the other ones for me would probably be Gantz. That one was so unexpected and really cool. And also Fate Zero and Madoka Magica. Those ones have hit me so hard. Nothing that we've watched other than perhaps ReZero.
Yeah, I was wondering if you were going to say ReZero.
That was going to be my next one.
Yeah, ReZero is definitely one that, I mean, among all the ones that we've seen, I can say it definitely fits the bill.
So in a very specific category, and this actually ties into our very first mini-sode, because me and Jason had a discussion about shonen anime, and I just bashed on it. And at the time, I was done with it. And we had just got done watching a shonen anime, which I had really liked. And I watched the second season of My Hero Academia, which was that first anime. And now I'm watching Dragon Ball Super. I'm watching Food Wars. Like, My Hero Academia rekindled the love of shonen. I went back and watched Naruto. I picked Boruto for this podcast. Like, I'm back in the shonen game, and it's all My Hero Academia's fault because they're doing it so darn good. And I'm just there is something pure and great about this. And when it's not around, it's like I'm looking for bad drugs to get me through.
You're like, where's a depressing anime?
It's just like I'll watch Goku punch a mountain for a while. I mean, it's not Deku, and it doesn't have the emotion anymore. But you know, at least I'm still getting that shonen fix. I need that shonen fix now.
Yeah, right. Itch. Yep.
Hey man, you know of any good shonen lately?
Got it. Yeah.
Food Wars kind of gets some credit for that too, because we've talked about it. It has a lot of those tropes that it plays with, and it's fun.
Well, like you've made the point before, how do you sell a show about cooking wars in a long format? Only anime.
Only.
That's what I had. Did you guys have any more?
My big ones.
I think an honorable mention for me would be the I can't remember. We just watched it. The one where all the anime characters come to the real world.
Three creators.
That's an honorable. That wasn't a really like big one for me, but it's definitely an honorable mention.
It's almost an anime victory lap of like, man, anime is great, and let's have an anime just celebrating how great it is.
Yeah, it actually gave me an idea. I'm always trying to think of ideas on how to make like really cool games, and it's the perfect one to make a game, because you could basically, if you set it up so that people could parse in their own characters, anybody could mod in characters from any anime or anything that they really liked and just assign different. Someday I gotta make it. And that show is the inspiration if it ever comes out.
Anything else?
I'm sure there's others, but nothing comes to mind. Those are definitely the big ones for me.
Shout out to the horrible animes that the video rental store had that had slight nudity. That my parents didn't realize, so I could rent them and watch them alone in my
Project Echo.
Project Echo is a golden gem, and you will watch your mouth.
I remember my mom getting so pissed at my dad for bringing that one home.
I have a special place in my heart for Project Echo because before I watched anime, it was on Sci-Fi Channel. They did like anime Saturday mornings, and my brother came and he's like, "You want to watch two hot chicks fight each other?" And I'm like, I'm 10. Do I want to see that? He's like, "Yeah, you want to see that." And we sat me down and watched Project Echo, and I was like, "What is this world you are showing me?"
Man, it kind of looks like not Kaijo, Sekirei.
Sekirei.
It was just so stupid, but you know what? Yeah. It was like, it's one of my anime first, so it's always going to be special to me.
Armitage.
All the cross-dressing aliens.
Oh god, the cross-dressing aliens were so creepy.
They were so weird. Okay. Yeah. I think that's good enough for everyone to say we're getting into weird places.
Yeah,
it's your fault.
Tentacles are just going to start crawling across our screens.
Yeah. Oh, look, it's Food Wars.
Okay, we are currently watching Fate Apocrypha. It is on Netflix. We're just watching the first 12 episodes. If you come along later, right now that's all that's available while we're watching them. But if you hear this podcast later, just so you know.
Actually, it's available to 20, so it's good that you're saying stop at 12.
Oh, not on Netflix, though.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Yeah. I was just looking at Anime News Network.
Yeah, it was actually, when you picked it, I was a little worried because I wasn't sure how Netflix would air it. But yeah, they will. As soon as it's done, they'll put on that second season.
Okay, cool.
We should be good. And if you would like to comment on your anime loves, the things that brought you back, the things that reminded you of why you stay, go ahead and let us know. You can reach us on our Twitter at Baka Podcast. You can reach us on our email, theanimebakaclub@gmail.com, or you can leave us a comment wherever you found this podcast, and it will reach us, and we will respond. Guys, not only do we love anime, we love you for loving anime. Jason doesn't, but he's Jason.
No. We love the you that believes in us, that believes in
Oh, God. That's Troy's anime.
Yeah, that actually should have been on my list.
That should have been.
Gurren Lagann is Gurren Lagann is actually partially responsible for the creation of this podcast.
Absolutely.
It is, because Jeremy didn't want to watch it. I'm like, if only there's a way I can make Jeremy watch anime that I want to talk about.
AKA Food Wars.
Yep.
All right. Let's go ahead and say goodbye.
Thanks for listening.
See you next time.
Sayonara.